back with the first episode of Packers Corner for the new season. Oh, Schmity, he's a bad man. And I didn't expect it. I didn't expect the Aaron Rodgers material. That was a heck of a draft. We've had some interesting drafts. The Aaron Rodgers draft, the Jordan Love draft, of course. This one, our first round pick, Micah Parsons. That was easy enough. We're going to break that down, get some reactions and some maybe some early predictions and how we feel about the NFC North stacking up, go around and see what we think of the draft from each of our respective opponents there. We'll break it all down after the intro here.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
It was named after Vince Lombardi. You play in Green Bay. As important as it is to any other team, it means more to us.
When he walked into the meeting, he looked us right in the eye. He said, "Gentlemen, we're going to relentlessly chase perfection."
My first thought was on any play with my arm strength, I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run. On every play. On every play.
He did what? Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Well, gentlemen, great to be back here with you. First of all, Schmity, what were you doing on day one of the draft with no pick for the Packers?
I was just watching some Micah Parsons highlights, and I said, oh, my goodness, we've got the best player in the draft this year and next. I was very excited. That got me through night one. I had seen no problem with it. I don't know about you guys, but to have Mr. Micah Parsons at our service, I'm pretty ecstatic to have that going for the next few years.
I was hoping we could get a Jordan Morgan or a Rashawn Gary or something like that in the first round. Dad, did it pang you to not see us have a card to bring up there in the first round?
Are you kidding me? I mean, this is a no-brainer. Finally, Micah Parsons, a unanimous choice by complete agreement across all the experts instead of Cooper. Did you? No, we took a tackle who can't play for 2 years, so hopefully it's going to work out. You mean Darnell Savage instead of DK Met or AJ Brown? We didn't have any of that this time, Schmity. It was just an absolute thing of beauty. Micah Parsons, write it down, book it, and we'll do it again next year. And there's no way Goody could screw it up this time. So it was a beautiful thing in my mind.
Well, we of course had a limited arsenal, a limited draft class in terms of the total picks we had available this year. But we had some clear needs at the cornerback position, up front, the kicker, and we addressed all those needs. So I think that's something to be excited about. I say Cisse, you might say Sissy. What did you think of Brandon Cisse as the first pick off the board for us, Schmity? Are you, would you put him in the ranks of someone who could maybe crack the starting lineup, given what we saw at the cornerback position this past year?
Yeah, I think most Packer fans would agree that this man, Cisse, will be a day one starter for us in September. While we had limited draft assets this year, I think this was the draft with the least amount of picks that Goody's had since his tenure with us. You just had to address needs, did a great job by doing that. And the Cisse fella, you get a kicker that will ultimately be the kicker come week one. So find the guys that are going to be plug and plays. It appears that this gentleman, Mr. Cisse, will be all of that. You can't have the reliance on Keyshawn Nixon and whoever else we're going to put opposite. Like, this was the need. We went and took care of it. Very happy with how Goody played this out in this draft. And yes, hallelujah, he didn't have to mess up a first-round draft pick. I've said in the past, we don't have any expertise in the first round. You should always trade out of the first round. You can get multiple guys like this Cisse. I'm very happy with the outcome.
Well, we had, a guy or two maybe that could cover and a guy or two that could maybe come up from the corner position and make a tackle here and there. We had a couple guys that couldn't do either. Maybe we got a guy here, Dad, that can do both. It looks like, and a guy that can be moved around. Sounds like a cerebral guy. What would have been your takes studying up on Mr. Cisse?
Well, looking at the draft in its entirety, my analysis tells me that we got our pick in the second round, Cisse, who's no sissy. We got General McClellan in the second round. We got the dentist, DDS, Dani, Dennis-Sutton, the pain extractor. We got the Jagermeister for center in the following round, or Mick Jager, whichever we want to go. Michael Jackson, the cornerback, Damari Jackson?
Domani.
From Bama.
Yeah.
Domani with all the measurables. And then we're talking smack later in the sixth round.
Great name. Heck of a name for a kicker.
Yeah, we got this. Boy, oh boy, could we have used him numerous times last year with a kicker, we would have won 3 or 4 more games. So it sure looks good on paper. That's always the beautiful thing. And I think the key may be, if none of these guys have to be immediate contributors, we're probably just fine. I'm fine with Schmity, if the kid Cisse develops and is able to get on the field. It may not happen right away. But I want to propose something, gentlemen, for you to kick around here. I think the draft was loud and clear about one aspect of our team by virtue of who we did not pick. And I wonder if it is obvious to you guys the pick we did not make and what it means about some gentleman that's already on the team that hasn't been able to get on the field the last 2 years.
Well, I don't know if I can fully endorse what you're getting at here. I think running back is the position he's getting at, Schmity. And MarShawn Lloyd, he who should not be mentioned, should not be named. I think maybe it says more about Emanuel Wilson than anything, and what they think of Josh Jacobs. And if it's talking about
Wilson is gone.
Well,
he's in Seattle.
But Chris Brooks was given a contract. I think that is where it lies, is what they believe in Chris Brooks and his ability to spell Josh Jacobs for this upcoming season. And then if you get lucky and MarShawn shows some promise and he's able to stay healthy through OTAs in the summer, then maybe he is that third back. But what's nice about the running back position is that there's plenty of veterans on the street that could come in and play that third string situation. So Jacobs 1, Brooks 2, and then we'll see if we get lucky.
I didn't know we had E-Man go.
Brooks is a number 2. He's a third down back. He's a protector. I think you're going to have to get a number 2 back. And if it's not Lloyd, then maybe Schmity's right. Maybe it comes off street. But I think the Packers are bullish on Lloyd. Here it is, May 5th? I'll go on record as saying it now, and we'll see how it all pans out. But boy, oh boy, if we could get something out of that guy, it would sure be nice.
It would be nice. I mean, you got to love what you see on tape and the measurables and the burst and everything from that guy. We just haven't seen it at all at the NFL level, unfortunately. So if we could get anything, I'm sure we'd all be excited. That's for sure. Speaking of excitement, Dad, I think a year ago you were beyond excited. You were a little euphoric. I think you were pretty sure we were going to win it all. And I felt maybe the same way the year previous. I'm curious to gauge the panelists' opinion and level of excitement at this point in the year. I think after last year, at least to me, it feels like there's no way we can approach that level of enthusiasm. Are you a little bit more grounded, down to earth here this year, Dad?
Well, let's recall that for the last 2 years, we've gone into the 12th or 13th week, 9-3 or 9-3-1, with our total destiny in control, including the number 1 seed in the conference. And we have absolutely screwed it up from that point forward. This last year, injuries had a lot to do with it. And, I think you have a clip you could play about me losing faith in the head coach and drawing a line in the sand. It's a little early in the year to go back and get into that negative aura.
You called it out. I'll have to tee it up.
Okay. But before you do, I think we all felt at 2 points last year after the second week of the season. Good Lord, but get the Super Bowl tickets. Here we go. I mean, we smoked Detroit, we smoked Washington, NFC contenders from the prior year, and just looked dominant in doing it with Micah Parsons running on the field. And then at Denver in week 13 or whatever it was, when we're 9-3 and we're ahead by 9 points in the middle of the third quarter, and the ball is in the air to Christian Watson on a deep post. And when that ball is hanging in the air, in my mind, sign us up. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're on a track to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. And the ball comes down, and Watson comes down, and he doesn't get up. And a couple plays later, Micah Parsons doesn't get up, and we go from jubilation to absolute good grief. Is there even a season left? And then the misery increased from there based on a number of things. But so, yeah, I mean, definitely at different points last year, it was very optimistic and rosy looking.
Well, I blame Dilly. Jim, Derek's uncle, is out cold during the Broncos game, and he wakes up and says, "Whoa, what happened? Hey, how are we doing?" "Well, we have a couple problems, Jim. We got Micah Parsons tore his ACL, and Christian Watson is in the hospital at that time. We had a bit of a scare there. Fortunately, he was okay." But yeah, I think, you know, it was definitely a roller coaster at times last year, and you drew a line in the sand, Dad, with Coach LaFleur, and you said there was kind of a point of no return. You wanted to make a clean break, and Schmity is a little bit more on the fence about that. Let me take you back to one of our last episodes of the year here, though, boys, and recant you with what you said at the time.
Well, first of all, do you trust Matt LaFleur to hire and fire assistant coaches?
No.
Okay. Number 2, are you going to trust him the next time we're in a close game in the fourth quarter to use the timeouts appropriately, to make the right decisions, to make the right play calls? Imagine yourself next year watching what is the definition of doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results? It's insanity. We're talking about the insanity clause here with keeping Matt LaFleur. And we're just going to find ourselves in this. I'm sorry, Schmity. I'm sorry to do this to you, brother, but this is a little tough love. We need to try to visualize into the future and imagine how this thing's going to look. I cannot in good conscience sit here on the Packers corner and have any faith in Matt LaFleur going forward to do it for us when it comes to the major decisions that need to be made by a football coach. He's probably the nicest guy in the world, and I think he is. And I tell you what, if he gets let go, I'll say a prayer for him and his family. God bless him. They've done a lot of good things in Green Bay, and
He'd
sure
be a hell of a girls' varsity tennis coach, as your mother and my grandmother
said. He's a hell of
said.
an offensive coordinator is what he is. He's a hell of an offensive coordinator. Just don't let him make the big decisions and get somebody. He's an example of the Peter principle. He's been elevated beyond his capabilities, and somebody else going to have to figure that. You know, he'd be great for Tennessee or New York, who just wants to become viable again. He's not a title town coach. He's not going to put us over the top and get us a title.
So you get a flavor for that, Schmitty. Are you still, firmly 2 feet in on Matt LaFleur, or are you a little wishy-washy about the whole situation?
High school tennis coach, shout out Nana. LaFleur, he's our guy, and I have to disagree with Gar and that take from a couple episodes ago when we were really feeling stung by that game against the Bears in the playoffs. He's the guy. I don't know if you guys listened to Jonathan Gannon's presser today and all the great things that Gannon had to say about Matt LaFleur and the savant that he is. There's only so many good ones in the NFL, and I still believe that in Matt we have a good one, and I'm not ready to see that die. I think in the last episode I said, as long as you just let Matt run this course of the Jordan Love, Micah Parsons era, and you see where we come out after this. If we're not able to accomplish anything with those two gentlemen playing ball for us, then maybe I'm okay with parting ways with Matt. But let's not forget how much great things that Matt's done for this franchise. I think he was the most winningest coach of all time to start his career as a head football coach in the NFL. Like he's had success. He's done a lot of great things here. Yeah. Do you really, can you survive many more blunders like you did the end of this season, the end of Tampa Bay NFC Championship? Like there are things you can point to throughout his career that you're like, yeah, this guy doesn't have the killer instinct that you'd want, but he's done a lot of great things. Think of the gold zone. There's a lot of good that Matt's done, and so that's bought him more time than I think you guys want to give him.
Well, at this point in the year, as we sit here in May, we have at least one member of the Packers corner that is not all out on the head coach. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I guess that's where we stand for the time being. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm in between you gentlemen. If my dad drew a line in the sand, maybe I have 1 foot touching down on either side here. But I can't say I would have put up too much of a fight if we could have got Jim Harbaugh in a number 2 like I touted.
Oh, gosh.
Or it would have been
do
John Harbaugh, excuse me.
Martha, this is the big one.
So I was going to shout out exactly what you mentioned, though, Schmity, with the acquisition. Maybe the biggest splash is the new defensive coordinator. I'm curious what you think of him, Dad. And then the biggest splash, other than meeting the positional needs we discussed in the draft, I think was getting DDS, as a huge steal is what many are touting. I think he'll be a fun one to watch, too. PFF had him as a 53-spot steal for us. So I'll let you guys riff on that for a moment. What do you think, Dad, about the DC?
Well, first of all, that reaction was last year in the moment after 2 Bears meltdowns.
Or are you taking it back?
I'm just setting the scene here now. We now know where we're at. The decision has been made. I'm all for the Packers. I hope they name a street after Coach LaFleur. But I remain very cautious and skeptical, but 100% for him and behind him and rooting for him. It's just that you're not going to fool me. And I really wonder more, just really quickly to litigate this thing and get it over with, because I'm on board. Let's get the train rolling. Let's get Matt LaFleur on track. And I got a philosophy here. It's called the Crystal Lanning philosophy. But my bigger concern is Ed policy. And I'll tell you what the Crystal Lanning thing is here in just a second, but Ed policy, the process he went through with Matt LaFleur to determine when he was extended was just pathetic. And that's probably why there was so much angst. If he knew he was going to sign him, he should have done it at the beginning of last year. All of this would have been a moot point and it would have been over with. So I just hope we got the right guy, Ed policy. Now I will give you a little history lesson, where we had a guy running the show that I think made poor choices, but it worked out. Why in the world did Ron Wolf let Mike Holmgren go to Seattle when he knew he was going to be retiring in 2 years? He let Holmgren go, and then he hired his tight end coach and gave him, Mike Sherman, the job that Mike Holmgren wanted. So strange things happen up there in that office. I don't know if the oxygen is a little low or what it is, but hopefully Ed policy can get some oxygen pumped in there and improve his process. And then that's the last I'm going to say about it until I'm going to be sitting here on my armchair. And the first time Matt LaFleur makes a boneheaded, poor halftime adjustment, end of the game management, poor adjustments to what the other team's doing, and not getting his team over the finish line, I'm going to be the first one to say, look at the tape. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Now, our 4th round draft pick, which was our 3rd pick, was a guy many people had us taking in the 2nd round. What is it? Dani Dennis-Sutton was mocked to us by Dane Brugler to go at 52. So this was a steal in the draft. He's a Penn State guy. I'm, very excited. We pair him up there with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 250 pounds. Look at him punching the ball out. Guess what he did, Schmity? He blocked 3 punts in college. Oh, when's the last time you saw a Packer block a punt? And I must say, I'm going to give Matt LaFleur some credit. I, at the moment, am very bullish on his 2 hires this year, which kind of shocks me. What I've heard from the defensive coordinator, which was your question, long way of getting there, Griff, but at least this year I'm getting there. I'm answering your question. I'm liking what I'm hearing there, and I like, Cam Acord with the special teams guy. I think maybe we got a couple good hires. So I am May 5th, I'm very bullish, ready to go. Let's get it done. This is a team that is ready to compete for a Super Bowl.
I got a topic you guys will appreciate. Where's Joe Barry going to be at in 2026?
Oh, don't. Oh, how can you do that to me, Griff? Why? No.
Is that one a little tender still? Too soon?
God, that still left a mark.
I was kind of serious, though. I wonder where he's going to be at.
In the USFL.
There we go. You were going to elaborate on the Crystal Lanning decision here and how that equates to the Packers.
So
then we better let Schmity talk.
No,
Quickly,
please enlighten me. Yes,
is the athletic director of the University of Wisconsin at River Falls Falcons.
Okay.
And she took the philosophy to let a head coach go 12 years before he had a winning record, stick with him 3 years in a row when they couldn't quite get it done. And then finally in the 15th year, her bet paid off, her intuition, her knowledge, her feeling about the situation. And Coach Walker got a national championship for the Falcons. And I think Ed Policy checked in with Crystal Lanning, rubbed that magic ball, that magic wand, and figured out that we got to stick with Matt LaFleur because he's eventually going to get it done. And like I say, I hope they name a street at him. But you'll understand if I remain cautiously optimistic and a little bit skeptical, but 100% ready to go. Is that iffy enough for you? Wishy-washy enough?
Hey, well, the
Griffey,
thing Oh, go ahead, Schmity.
No, I'd say I'm just as excited. Throw the graphic of the Packers over the Steelers in the middle of the fall when you had Micah, you had Jordan, you had Tucker all lined up in a conference after the game. Bring those vibes back. I know they're there. They exist. They're there for us this coming season.
Well, what I appreciate about you two gentlemen is that no matter where we are, I think you guys will be able to convince yourselves to be pretty excited come September, come August, maybe July, but you'll be able to circle the wagons and so forth. I don't know if I can be. I was as up as you can ever be a couple years ago, and I'm still a little nervous about number 10 when push comes to shove there.
10? What happened to you?
I think he's good. I'm the one that was a proponent for him coming out of the draft and everything. But when you got 10 and Matt LaFleur, the guys steering the ship, are they going to... Well, take Ben Johnson, for instance. He walks into the NFC North, and he says, the great thing about this job is I get to beat Matt LaFleur twice every year, and he goes out and he does it. I can't say I feel good about that. I can't say I feel good about the moxie. I mean, Jordan's kind of, he isn't exactly a leader of men with his demeanor. I don't know, maybe it's different behind closed doors, but he's pretty level, which is fine. You got Matt LaFleur, who is almost condescending in interviews when he's made huge gaffes and so forth. And then you got confident Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson saying we're going to walk in here and take over the NFC North. And we've seen what KOC's done with a few different quarterbacks over the years. We'll see what the Kyler Murray experiment looks like. I don't think I'm too nervous about those guys. But more than anything, I just have seen a tendency for us to not get it done when it matters most, and especially against the Chicago Bears this year. Schmity, are the Monsters of the Midway going to be take another step forward?
Schmity.
What if they take a step forward?
Griffey, before I talk about anything about the Chicago Bears, I will say with the signing of Tyrod Taylor very recently, for us, unfortunately, having a veteran backup quarterback is not a nice to have; it's a need to have. Had we not had these performances from Malik Willis throughout the past couple of years, I don't know if we're making the playoffs, right, with being the 7th seed. So it's good that we bring in a veteran, but it's also scary that, yes, Jordan Love, can he remain healthy? Is that afforded to us for an entire season? You certainly hope so, because you're going to need it, and you're going to need it. Why? Because Ben Johnson, the man that's the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and Caleb Williams, they are a damn good ball club. They just are. We're with that. We're in that situation now where the team south of us is actually a viable ball club. They are no longer the laughing stock. It's not Aaron Rodgers' toy twice a year. Okay, we are going to have meaningful football games against this team, and you have to figure out a way, Matt LaFleur, to go out and beat this team. Granted, the Bears, much like the Vikings this past season, like they're, as far as cap situation goes, the Bears are in a tough spot, I believe. So, yeah, it's May, but you have to start figuring out how to beat this team, because I believe that the Bears are the NFC North favorites right now.
Well, I don't want to.
Not shocked, Griff.
Well, we've seen this before from Schmity, but
the Bears for 4 years since we started the podcast. It's got to hit one of these times. Schmity, have you got the bet in Vegas yet? What are the Super Bowl odds of the Bears? 30-1?
They're definitely longer than the Packers. Surprisingly, the Packers, I think, are the 3rd or 4th longest in the NFC, and then maybe they're the 6th or 7th total. But yes, right now it's the Packers and the Lions are favored to win the North. The Bears are 3rd, and the Bears are a lot longer than the Packers and Lions to win it all. However, I mean that's just Vegas making good money right now with the Packers and the Lions. So, guys, I'm nervous. I told we know I'm a Caleb Williams guy. I just am, and it makes sense if you watch the guy play. Okay, the guy knows how to get it done, unlike us.
Well, and I guess that would be my biggest gripe with Jordan Love. He's obviously shown for long stretches that he can be a top 10, top 5. There's been stretches where he's been the best quarterback in the NFL. But 1-3 in the playoffs. The only one we won was when it was a blowout, which you can't fault him for the team playing well. But when it's been close in the playoffs, we've shown a propensity to somehow, some way find a way to lose. And so we'll see come the end of next fall. But, Dad, you don't look like you have any gripes with Jordan Love's performance.
Absolutely none. And those playoff losses, in fact, this is a topic of mine. Good riddance, Jeff Hafley. I mean, just the nicest guy at the podium, slick as can be, can talk a great game. Look what his defense did last year. They crapped all over themselves against Cleveland, against Carolina, twice against the Bears, including in the playoffs. A historic meltdown in the 4th quarter. That's all on his resume with the defense. And Jordan Love came back and got us the lead, except our kicker couldn't make a kick. And our defense couldn't hold anything. When is the last time you remember our defense winning a game? He even got us back to win the Cowboys
Super Bowl
game.
in 2011, 2010 season, 2011.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm sure Jeff Hafley is a good guy. His performance last year as the defensive coordinator in key situations left me completely listless. So, you can talk all you want about Jordan Love. I'm all over the fact that, thank God, we got rid of Jeff Hafley, and we have a lot of luck to him. I love the kid that he's got for a quarterback. We love what Malik did for us, and good luck down there in Miami. But I'm thinking about in Boston College, he was a 500 coach. Hafley's never done that much in terms of getting a team to perform. So. Maybe it was just an anomaly last year. Maybe it's because we lost.
So do you think we took a step in the right direction with Jonathan Gannon? Is that an upgrade?
It can't be a downgrade. I must say I didn't like the process of not interviewing Jimmy Leonard. But Gannon has a good resume. He did it with the Eagles. He put together a good team. He's been able, and Schmity, to your point, if you look at our draft, I think our draft screams speed to get after your boy down there in Chicago. I mean, every draft pick, look at the corner who runs like a deer, General McClellan in there, a disruptor up the middle to go along with Devontae Wyatt, who everybody forgets didn't play last year either. Micah Parsons. Then you come off the edge with the DDS, the pain extractor. So our draft is very much about getting after Caleb Williams. And the one thing you got to do to get after him, Schmity, and you know this, is you got to be able to compete against his legs, because he makes plays with his legs that are unbelievable. His first reaction plays are not that good. It's the old Aaron Rodgers adage, right? It's what he does with the second reaction to the play, and that's what we've got to be able to cut down. We got to be able to get him down when he's out of the pocket and eliminate these second reaction plays. And I think that's what the draft is about. So no, Griff, I am not at all in agreement with your assessment of Jordan Love. I put that on Hafley and our kicker. Good Lord, our kicker, Schmity.
Well, and the record is what the quarterback owns to some degree. And early in their careers, Aaron Rodgers, because the defense had a couple early losses in the playoffs. Brett Favre had a couple years where they ran into, who was it that we couldn't get by, the Cowboys, and eventually they broke through. So maybe this is the year that we break through. I'm open to that possibility, and I'm optimistic too. But I'm not quite as optimistic as I was maybe a year or two ago. So hopefully I change my tune quickly. The one thing I do want to get your perspective on, Schmity, is why the heck is Caleb Williams so good in the fourth quarter? He's, been proven to be one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. And then out of nowhere, he just puts on the cape in the fourth quarter. We were obviously victims of that twice, but it seemed to happen the whole year for him. Do you have any insight into why that is? Is he just a gamer? He just rises to the occasion?
I heard he has a fantastic nail salon that he goes to in Chicago. I think a lot of his performances at the home game situation, he finds a zen at his nail stylist, which I might need to find the number for, because I think Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs also frequents them, and PCA might be that.
Are you going to show up on Packers Corner with a manicure and painted nails?
If we take such a bad loss from Mr. Caleb Williams and his painted fingernails, the episode after that loss of this coming season, I'm going to be recording from the nail salon. I actually will. I got a good nail stylist. She does my feet. I let her do my fingers every once in a while.
God bless her.
I got good toes. My toes are very symmetrical. I don't have the one where the second toe is longer than my big toe. I have very nice looking feet, so I could maybe I'd sell some of my feet photos on Feet Finder or something cool. But regardless, how does Caleb Williams? The question: How does Caleb Williams do it? He's just very good at football, Griffey. Let me say this. I think that if Caleb Williams is going to take the next step, right, like the theatrics of him coming back in all these fourth quarter games, like it's just not a sustainable recipe to win.
I agree.
A championship. And so what Ben Johnson is going to be faced with is making that whole offense more consistent. If they're able to do that, the Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze setup, even their Luther Burton, they have two really good wide receivers. I would compare the receiver corps of their team to ours. I don't see much of a difference there. And until I see Matthew Golden make this gigantic leap, it's awesome that we signed Jaden Reed to an extension. Fantastic. Christian Watson is going to need one soon. I think those are very equal receiver rooms right now, and so that those receiver rooms are going to elevate the play. And if you expect the Dunzes and the Burdens of the world to make a leap along with Caleb Williams, they're going to be another very good offense. And I don't think they're necessarily going to need to rely upon making these miraculous comebacks in the fourth quarter.
Well, I think one more thing, then we'll leave you guys here. This is what you get in the off season. We're a little bit all over the place. We'll find our form, but been fun to break it down. I want to get your thoughts on meeting some of the Packers Corner faithful, Schmity. We had a big shindig and celebrating my dad and his birthday, and you got to meet a couple of the crew here that have been avid listeners and big time supporters. And I'm curious what that was like.
Absolutely fantastic. Gar's ceremony, I really wasn't thinking too much about it. I considered this event as a meet and greet with all of our Packers Corner faithful, and so I had an absolute blast. The Swansons of the world, the Stretches of the world, and then the absolute gem, the creme de la creme, was side by side with Nana. I was just elated that I couldn't believe I found myself in the presence of such the great one of the Packers Corner podcast and Nana. So just an absolutely fantastic time. Thank you, Griff, for putting that on. The Packers Corner meet and greet / Gar's whatever party we were celebrating at the time. No, it was fantastic. It reminds me of why we do this. We have such great listeners, and so hey, it's only May. We got 4 more months until meaningful football comes about. But this is just the start. I get excited about this. We have new toys on the team with these draft picks that are coming in. I'm excited. I'm sure this won't be the last one before we hit August and start really getting into some preseason football. So welcome back, everyone. I'm very happy. It was a pleasure to meet some of our Packers Corners listeners in person. I'm excited to get after it.
Schmity was kind of a celebrity there, huh, Dad? I'll let you sign us off, but I'm glad we were able to get together in person. We'll have to have a kickoff golf outing or something for the Packers Corner as well. But Dad, bring us home here.
Well, it's way too early in the season to have a lump in my throat and a tear in my eye and a crick in my knee, but I already do, because what more can a father wish for, to aspire to, than his son throws a surprise? I don't know. I thought it was going to be a birthday party. Then it was a retirement party. Then it was a Packers Corner party. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And all of Schmity and all his contemporaries were there, and a lot of the people on the Packers Corner. And so it was just fabulous. But I think my take-home thought for the faithful would be we are definitely elevating the lofty standards of this podcast, because we've gone from Schmity talking about piercing his nipples, and we've elevated ourselves all the way now that he's just going to color his nails. So there is great hope on this podcast in terms of the ascension that we are aspiring to this year. And I would just leave you with this. Of course, you know that I got the cheese, and I think we got a real good, solid cheese to get us started in the right direction this year. That's a ricotta cheese that we're going to go with. And ladies and gentlemen out there, just put it on a slow burn, put it on a little sizzle, put on the smoker on low, and just get ready as we head into OTAs and training camp and off season. And yes, we aren't quite as high as we were before, because you know why we were high before, Griff? Because we had wondered if we were going to have a quarterback, and we were able to make our transition from Aaron Rodgers, the one who Schmity so loves and adores, to Jordan Love. We're lucky to have him, and now we're a little complacent on that, but this is the year that we see it all come to fruition with all the players we got coming back. And so to the faithful, have a wonderful off season, and we'll see ya when it gets real round about July.
We'll keep the cheese going low and slow till that point in time, and we'll see you guys then. Thanks so much. Good to be with you, gentlemen.
Love you all.